Hey guys, welcome back to Geek with Dev. I'm bringing you another Zoom interview. I'm here with Candi Brooks. Is that how you pronounce it properly?
Yeah, that's it.
Candi Brooks. Because like you'll get some guests and then they'll have like a normal name like David or something, and then they'll be like, oh, you need to pronounce it David, and it's like that's the joys of being an interviewer. So you just got to make sure. How are you?
I'm great. I'm super good. Thank you. I'm
Awesome.
excited to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. This is it now. This is like talk shows. It's
I know.
all through Zoom now. It's
This
crazy,
is our
but
world.
how's quarantine treating you? It's almost over now, but how was your whole experience?
Um, Honestly, I feel like this is a super selfish thing to say, but for us, it didn't change much. Um, we have, I mean, other than creatively, so like acting primarily dried up.
Mm,
Um, in terms of auditions, I've only had a handful, but I mean, Outer Banks released while in quarantine, so I feel like that was kind of a win for a lot of people because they were at home, so they were gonna watch. And then, but outside of that, a lot of things were just the same. So my husband and I both have a business in health and wellness. We work together in addition to acting. So we could do that anywhere. So if that didn't change, it actually grew quite a bit. We already homeschool our kids, so that didn't change. We were already at home doing that. And I own a studio in New Orleans, taping and teaching and coaching other actors. So that obviously
cool.
closed. And then my husband's also a photographer, so that actually stopped. But for the most part, it's been a lot of the same.
It's just kind of now it's like a way to kind of form closer bonds with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
at home, doesn't have to go out and do everything every day. But
Yeah.
awesome.
I
And you
like I
said,
like the idea of it being a reset and people just slowing down and being a little more intentional with their time and with their choices and what's available to them. So I like the idea of that, not at the expense of people's health, but
of course,
you know,
waiting in line, the world's going to be different though, I think now after it.
I
We're going to be
hope.
waiting in line for stores and stuff like that. But there's going to be a lot of positive things that you can focus on that are going to be coming out of it too. Hopefully, like you said, it is a little bit of a reset, and
Yeah,
a lot of people need that.
I
But then
feel
there's
the same
people
way.
like me who's like, I'm in quarantine now and I can't not be doing something, so I'm sitting working every day.
Yep.
There's some of those people too. But
For
like you
sure.
said, Outer Banks came out really not too far into this whole thing.
Mhm.
So I've been talking to some other cast members, and we like to call it kind of an artificial summer. And
Mhm.
what are your thoughts on that? It's kind of like an artificial summer for kids.
That's so fun. I love that idea. It's great. It's easy to well, the show is shot beautifully and the
Yeah,
cast is gorgeous. And so it's easy to get kind of lost in that world the same way you do a good book. And I love that it's hopeful. Like, I don't know, it made me look forward to summer. It's hopeful. Having read the scripts, I didn't get to read every episode, only the episodes I was in. So I had a good idea of my footing and what was going on. But watching the show in its entirety, I was like, I don't know. It was a great adventure. It was so much fun. So much
so
fun. Yeah, I love that. Artificial summer. That's a great term.
yeah. So walking on the set, it's your first day. You are in the first episode, so you're not walking in halfway during shooting. What was it like meeting the cast and the crew?
Walking on set the first day felt like there was a great bond already between the castmates. So our first scene, well, the first scene that I shot was the scene with John B at my office. And so I met like Madison, who plays Kiara. I met her backstage and we just were chatting and her dad was there and it was just real chill and a lot of fun. And then we moved on to set for that scene. And so the cast, it was just so fun to watch them interact. Like they definitely made real friendships. They were definitely real down to earth, so chill. Um, and it was it's so weird, but it was hard for me to feel kind of like the bad guy, like I was ruining
Yeah,
all their fun. And like my job was to chase John B down and be like, you need to be a responsible young man. And they were all
yeah,
having so much fun. So like Candi wanted to root them on, but
hmm
Cheryl, my character, definitely had to obey the law.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
When did you decide that you wanted to be an actress?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. I decided I wanted to be an actor pretty early on, about 3 years old. Uh,
Really?
yeah, and
Wow.
so it's been this thing that I've sort of chased my whole life. So I started in dance just because I didn't really know what acting was at 3. I just knew that I wanted to be on
Mhm.
stage. And so then I was a dancer for years, and then I went to a performing arts high school and started studying theater there. And then I got a BFA in musical theater from a 4-year program, and then I started working professionally in the late 90s. So
That's awesome. That's so cool. So now I'm gonna ask, were there any challenges getting into the character of Cheryl, or did you just kind of slide right in? It worked good.
I'm gonna be 100% honest on this one. I'm gonna be
Okay.
100% honest the whole time, if that's okay. I'm gonna be
Okay.
really unplugged and candid. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, Cheryl, the character of Cheryl is very much unlike any other type that I've ever played.
Right
And when
on.
I got the audition, I read so when we get an audition, we get a breakdown, like our team, our
Mhm.
agent or manager sends it to us. I read the breakdown and I was like, I'll never book this. Why am I auditioning for this? And my team was like, it's a casting director you've never worked with. Go ahead and do it. It's for Netflix. I just had a movie come out on Netflix prior to that. Um, so they were like, it's from Netflix. They like you. Just audition. And I was like, okay. I auditioned, and then I got a call back. I auditioned with a tape, and then I got a call back, and I was like, did they watch the tape? Like, I'm not the right candidate for this role. And my manager was like, just do it. And I was like, okay, tape the call back. And then I booked it, and I was like, are these fake sides? Like, is this not real? Like, do they not like they saw the tape, right? And not because I doubted myself as an actor, but because I worked in casting for 7 years, and I am not the
Really?
person I would have cast in that role. And so I was just very surprised. And so for me, yes, it was a challenge, that role. It was a great challenge and I really loved it. But for me, yeah, it was like I had to dig into a deeper register in my voice because I wanted her to have more authority and just be more of a presence. And then like a lot of roles I do are very pretty and glamorous and feminine. And I knew that this was going to be like a no makeup, flaws. And he refers to her as the Bride of Frankenstein. So I knew that I was going to have like big, crazy hair. And,
Yeah.
like these kids are wearing like hot bikinis and I'm in like a power suit. So
Yeah.
it's a really different juxtaposition. And so it was good. It was a challenge for me, but it was a really good, I really loved it. It was
Being on
really,
set, you were probably one of the hottest people, like
temperature.
hot,
Yeah.
like temperature wise. um, other than the officers being in
Yeah, we
a
joked.
whole
Okay,
suit.
so Rob, the guy who plays my deputy,
Yeah.
Deputy Thomas, we joked about that the whole time because they're in like bikinis and like open shirts, and he and I are in like polyester, like 4 different layers, like
And
dying.
Rob's a big guy.
Oh, he's a huge guy. Yeah, we had so much fun though. He and I. Oh my gosh, we didn't get to meet each other until the second episode I did, and we just clicked right away. We had so much fun on set together.
That's awesome.
He's
That's so cool.
awesome.
Okay, so let's pretend that you're not in the show at all and you're sitting at home with how many
Mm-hmm.
kids do you have?
2.
2, right on. And so I've been following a lot of your Instagram stuff and it
Ah,
seems
thanks.
of course. Um, two-part question. One, what did you think of the show? And two, did you get to watch it with your kids?
So one, what did I think of the show? I loved it. I loved it. It
Right on.
played so well, start to finish. I loved the reminiscent adventure of the Goonies. Like that's my generation.
Oh, of
I
course.
love the reminiscent adventure and that same sort of. I just loved that. The cliffhangers were in the
Yeah.
right places, but they weren't too put on. It didn't feel too like soap opera dramatic. Like I loved the show. I really did. The characters are easily identifiable. There was enough drama and enough passion, but more adventure and more fun. And it was also believable. Like
No
these
phones the whole
yeah,
time.
and these characters were young and I didn't see like a lot of times you see characters in that age group doing things that kids that age shouldn't be doing. Like they just
Oh yeah.
shouldn't have access to all those things. Like I'm not going to name other shows because I don't want to badmouth anyone. But like I watch other shows and I'm like, 16 and 17-year-olds are not living their life like that. Like they're in high school and they have jobs and So I love that. I love that. What was this? Oh, the second part. No, I
Did any
didn't
of your
watch. I
You
did
didn't
not
watch
watch
with your
the show with
kids?
my kids. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And uh the things that I knew of the show I thought would be fun, but our kids are
Mm-hmm.
fairly young, and so I
Oh,
didn't know, like, in terms of language and violence and sex, drugs, rock and roll, I didn't know
yeah.
what would be on the show, and so I
Fair
didn't
enough.
want to, like, put my foot in my mouth and be like, oh, we're gonna stop watching this one now.
Yeah, yeah. In the middle of the
This
show,
may be an
yeah.
adult show. After watching it, I think it's probably fine. Like, there's a little bit of violence, a little bit of drugs. I think it would
Yeah,
probably be
yeah,
fine.
there is. But
But
so have a favorite character?
I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, spill the tea.
My favorite character is Kiara.
Oh, me too.
Is it?
I'm not even lying. I'm not even lying. I love Kira. I love her so much. She's like
I love Kiara.
everybody's saying Sarah, Sarah, Sarah. I'm like Kiara. Like you're
Kiara is where
so
it's
cool.
at.
You're
She's
so
where it's
cool.
at. And the actor who plays her, I adore her too. Like, she and I had a good connection on set. I mean, we don't have any scenes together or anything, but just, off camera. She's dope, and she's so grounded for such a young person. I mean, she's so grounded, and she has a great story, like her personal story in life, and she's just
Yeah,
real
she does.
real chill. And I mean, she's very talented. She's got a great resume, but I love that in some way. I think all actors, we bring a part of ourselves to every role, even if it's some, like, my character's nothing like me, but I still bring a part of myself to that. And I love that she was the last actor they cast in the show. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
And
No.
and I love that she dropped in. Like, she found her sweet spot in that role, and she just dropped in, and I think that it really shows. It really shows. And
Absolutely.
knowing that she doesn't, like, knowing in the show, knowing that she comes from, like, the Kooks, and
Yep.
and then seeing her in that element. We only see her in that element seldom, but seeing her in that element, that she's a fish out of water. You know that that's not where she belongs.
Oh yeah.
So, out of respect for her parents and what, they're trying to provide for her, I was so happy for her in that scene when they're all, like, dressed up. It's like a cotillion or something,
Yeah.
and she just, like, busts
Midsummer.
out of there, like, full evening gown. And I was so I didn't see them shoot that scene, but I was on set that day, because when we had lunch, they all came to set to lunch, like, in their formal wear, and I was like, what's happening with you today? What is this? Is not your character. I'm so confused. And so she, like, told me, what was going on. But it was so, I don't know. I really, I got it for her. I think she's
Yeah.
awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. That's so cool. And hearing a little, well, not from her. I haven't spoken to her yet,
Yeah.
but seeing a little bit of her backstory and her life outside of the show is just really inspiring too.
Yeah.
Um, but
And I think it's made her very real. Like, I mean, like, obviously all of these actors are gonna, I was telling Chase months ago, I was like, this is the calm before the storm, man. You gotta just, like, enjoy these moments, because your whole life's about to change. And I feel like that for most of them. Like, they're getting huge, social media presence now, and
yeah,
interviews and magazines, and fingers crossed for a second season,
yeah, let's
and a
hope.
triumphant return. But Chase and I have the same talent agent, and he
Oh
and I
yeah,
we keep up with each other on Instagram mostly. And I just think it's so exciting that they're just real, really real people, and super down to earth, and I like that.
yeah, for
Most
sure.
of the
That whole
people,
show.
yeah,
Most
most
of the
of the
people,
people I would say that I've had the opportunity to work with are that way. So that's a huge blessing. But you do meet some divas.
of course, of
you
course.
don't you don't work in this industry for this long and not meet some ugly people too.
Yeah, absolutely. But so season two, I talked to I actually got to talk to Jonathan Davis, which was wild, and
Yeah,
he was
good.
we were talking about season two, and
Yeah.
if it were to happen, what we would think would happen. Now, I want to run by you a quick theory. I'm going to try to do this as quick as I can because I've said it in a bunch of my YouTube videos now, and everybody's already heard it. My hair will
Oh,
stop
snap.
going to the side. Okay, so all the older characters, all the parents,
Hmm.
maybe Deputy Thomas, Peterkin, and John B's dad,
Mhm.
Ward, maybe JJ's dad, they were all in the same game. They all wanted to find the merchant too. They were all looking for the same thing. And then now it's just maybe one day we can go back and see their story on how they all were looking for the gold. And maybe
Yeah,
JJ's mom died looking for the gold. And that's why his dad's all up on drugs, and everybody knows each other in this small little town,
of course.
like Goonies style sort of thing. Like, that's my theory. I was talking to JD about it. I was talking to everybody about it, and everybody thinks that would be super cool. What do you think about that?
I love that. I love it. I would love an opportunity to see some flashbacks to identify with how the first generation, we'll call them, how they
Yeah.
got to who they are in the first season, right? Like how they got, what led them to all the places that they're at. I do think the heart of the show is like John B, the character John B, like
Oh
he
yeah.
carries the weight of the show. And so I do think that we have to find a way to sort of mix the second generation with the first, but I would love opportunities to see some sort of flashbacks on how they got there,
Yeah.
and some younger versions of those characters.
Of
I
the
mean,
older
first of all,
characters.
that'd be dope for casting to find like Max
Oh
and his
yeah.
cousin.
But cool. Yeah. I mean, that's just my little theory. And I just want to ask one more question before we wrap up. Where do you think that your character is going to go if season 2 happens? Because like John B's not within your jurisdiction anymore.
It's funny that you ask, and I've been thinking about this as well. So I definitely have my fingers tightly crossed for a second season because it's a great show. The writing is phenomenal. The Pate brothers are amazing. I actually told them when I finished my third episode, I said, I'm sad to leave the show, not because I don't know if my character's coming back or not, but I'm most sad because I won't get to continue reading the scripts. Like they're
Mm.
so good. So I don't know if my character comes back in a second season, but my thought is it's open right now. It's open because um, with with Sarah's dad, potentially, getting caught and getting found out for what he's done, he'll no longer be able to guardian John B.
Mm.
And his wife is a stepmom, which means she has no legal right to that guardianship. And so that puts me back on the board to chase him down and put him in a proper place.
Yeah, for sure. And Sarah, yeah, for sure. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see. I hope to see more of your character. I definitely
Oh
do.
man, me too. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
And
And there's what's up?
fun fact. I play Rudy, the actor who plays Rudy.
You play Rudy?
No. The actor who plays Rudy.
Okay. Yeah.
You were
Or do
with
you mean
me?
the actor who plays JJ?
Yes, I'm sorry. His real name is Rudy.
Rudy's his
Um,
name.
yeah, Rudy's his name. I play his mom in another film.
Do you?
Yes.
That's so
Small
cool.
world
So
stuff.
you've worked with him before.
No, I worked with him after. So it was while we were shooting Outer Banks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we did a short film on an island out there, and
Wow.
I play his mom in the short film.
That's
It's incredible.
crazy.
It's a great.
He is a fantastic actor. I mean, at least from what I've seen on
Yeah.
Instagram Live and stuff, he trains really hard, puts a cork in his mouth and reads things. It's like,
Yep.
this guy's dedicated. But
Yeah.
I really hope to see your character more in season 2. And if it happens, everybody, we still don't know. There's not been confirmation. I
No,
don't
these
know
are not
why.
promises.
But I seen a meme. I seen a meme actually it was today, and it's the one picture from Finding Nemo where all the fish are floating in the ocean, but they're all in little bags,
Oh
so
yeah.
they can't go in the ocean. So it's
Mhm.
like, well, once we're back on set, now what? Because we all have to stay apart from each other, right? So I mean, it's gonna be a weird world in the acting world diving back in. And acting is
Mhm.
actually how I got into doing interviews because I was an actor before I was an interviewer. So
Amazing.
I understand that that's going to be a different world going back in. And, I wish you guys luck on season 2 if that sort of thing happens. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe for more cool interviews. And where can we find you on social media?
I am at the Candi Brooks, CandiBrooks.
Sweet. Thanks.